Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Perth Common Good Fund Committee meeting for Wednesday, the 28th of April 2021. Can I ask Kirsten Molly to confirm the attendance first? Thank you.
Yes, convener. First of all, we have apologies from Councillor Harry Coates and Councillor Lyle. Good morning, members. When I call out your name, if you could please confirm that you are present. So we've heard from yourself, Councillor Parrott. Councillor Ahern.
Present.
Councillor Liz Barrett.
Present.
Councillor Peter Barrett.
Present.
Councillor Audrey Coates.
Present.
Councillor Drysdale.
Present.
Councillor Duff.
He was here.
Councillor Duff.
Councillor Duff's feed appears to have frozen, so he may have dropped off.
Councillor Massey. Is Councillor Massey in yet? Councillor Rebeck.
Here, Kirsten, thank you.
Councillor Wilson.
Present.
So just Councillor Duff.
Excuse me, Kirsten, you missed me. I'm here.
Oh, sorry, Councillor McCall. Councillor McCall.
Present.
Thank you. I am so yeah. Apart from Councillor Duff and Councillor Massey, all members are present. Convener.
Thank you very much, and let's hope that they can, or Ian can join in due course, and John can rejoin if the technology allows.
Councillor Parrott, I have managed to rejoin. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I know it's a long way for the wiggly amps to work from where you are. Thank you very much. Are there any declarations of interest with regard to today's business? Thank you. Councillor Ahern.
Thank you, convener. Yes, I've got a non-financial interest in paper 6, item 3 on the capital grants.
Thank you very much for that. Are there any more declarations of interest? No, in which case we will proceed. Item 3 is the minutes of the last meeting. Can we confirm or agree those minutes?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. There are no matters arising from those minutes, I believe. Can we confirm that?
Could I ask a question? It's not a matter arising as such, but on page 9 of the minutes, Tulloch Primary School, we're going to...
Okay, I was just going to come on to that as the next item, in fact, Willie. You're mute, Willie.
Right, okay. Tulloch Primary School and the Dalguise trip, I just wondered...
Sorry, hang on. Yeah. First of all, are there no... I think what you're speaking about, Councillor Wilson, is it item 5. So can we just confirm that there are no matters arising from the minutes at item 3? No, okay, we'll proceed. Item 5 then relates to a number of issues that were dealt with virtually in the absence of meetings during lockdown. Can we are there any comments on those items? And I believe, Councillor Wilson, you have one.
Convener, thanks for keeping me right on the agenda. I jumped ahead there. Tulloch Primary School and the trip to Dalguise. Understand that other schools haven't been able to go to Dalguise this year for a whole variety of reasons, some of them COVID related. Do we know if the Tulloch trip's still on, or if they have an alternative, such as other primary schools I understand have been doing it at Lairwell for outdoor activities as an alternative?
I am not aware of, if you like, any change to the plan, but there again, I wouldn't necessarily assume to be aware. My understanding is that if they don't carry out the activity as planned, then, if you like, they are not eligible for the grants that we've awarded them to be paid in arrears. Perhaps Mr. Haxton would care to comment on this one further.
That's correct, convener. We pay out in arrears. We've had nothing further from Tulloch regarding their trip, so to the best of our knowledge it is going ahead, but they have not yet claimed the grant. If they do make any changes, then of course we'll try our best to accommodate that and keep you up to speed.
Thank you very much, Lee. And Councillor Wilson, my view would be is that if they carry out an alternative activity, then it would be perfectly proper for them to come back to this committee to see if we were, in a sense, willing to agree to vary the terms of the grant to support an alternative activity.
Indeed, Convener, thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other more comments on item 5? No, thank you. Moving on then to item 6, requests for financial assistance. There are only 3 under the small grants heading. At item 2.1, a Perth student is seeking a grant to support a 12-month voluntary overseas placement with Project Trust of Honduras on a teaching placement. It is considered that a grant of £400 is consistent with the relevant criteria here, and I am content to recommend a grant of £400. Can we have agreement to that?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. At item 2.3, Perth Outdoor Playgroup are seeking funding to cover first aid training for volunteers. The committee is asked to consider the request and determine the level of any grant to be awarded. I am minded to recommend that we grant the full amount that they are requesting of £710.40, but particularly given the facts stated in the papers that the group have already raised £7,000 towards the activities they're planning, and if you like, £710 in a sense is far from the total of the activity. Can we have agreement to that proposal?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the capital grants. At item 3.1, North Inch Bowling and Sports Club is upgrading and extending the 100-year-old clubhouse to include a community hall, which would be able to open year-round and be available to community activities, to community groups, and host a variety of activities. Sorry, just come up in the chat. I'm sure Councillor Lard's apologies are noted, John. With regard to the bowling club, it's considered that a grant of £17,000 is consistent with criteria 10.4, and in view of the fact that the group have already raised £57,000 of their own money towards this project, I'm happy to recommend a grant of £17,000 because it is below the 25% of the total project cost that is contained within the criteria. Councillor Rebeck, you have a question.
Thank you, Councillor Parrott. This feels like a good thing to do, but I'm just curious, and it's maybe an unfair question for Mr. Haxton, but I'm curious how the community use of the hall might work. I don't know if we have any further detail on it. Mr. Haxton, are you able to comment on that?
Yeah, I have the application in front of me. There isn't a lot of detail, but we have had conversations with the bowling club in the past, as they had considered at one point looking at a community asset transfer request for the building. My understanding is that they want to be able to open up the social space within the bowling club in order to allow community groups to make use of it, obviously as an additional asset for the community, but also as an opportunity for the club to raise some additional income.
Thank you, Mr. Haxton. I see that while Councillor Hearn has declared an interest with regard to this item, I know he has a knowledge of this, and so I'm more than happy for him to answer this particular point on this issue. Chris, if you wish to go ahead.
Thanks very much, Convener. Yes, it is a community asset, and we've already had a lot of interest from community groups that can use it. It's a very large space. There's nothing else in there. It's just an open space. We can put in there what's required from the different groups, and it's available all year round. The bowling club itself would only use it if they were having a particular event. It's intended to be used for events for everybody, and we've already had, as I said before, lots of interest from community groups to book it once it's completed.
Thank you for that, Councillor Hearn. Councillor Drysdale, you have a comment.
Thanks, convener. Yeah, I mean, I think Chris has kind of come in ahead of me and said what I was kind of going to say, which was that there's I can envisage a significant amount of community interest in this, not least from community councils and the like, so I'm enthusiastically supportive of this particular proposal. But I see that Councillor Barrett has come in before me in terms of seconding, otherwise I would have done so.
Thank you very much for that. And yes, I note, thank you, Peter, for seconding this. In the absence of any other questions or comments, can we agree that the grant of £17,000 is awarded in this case?
Agreed.
Thank you to all. That completes item 5. Sorry, that completes item 6. I'm losing my trace. Moving on then now to paper 7. Can I ask Mr. Coyne to please introduce this paper?
Thank you, convener. This report provides details of the proposed budget for the Perth Common Good Fund for financial year 21-22 and also provides an update on the projected outturn for the fund for the year ending 31st of March 2021. So sections 2.1 to 2.17 of the report provide details of the proposed budget for 21-22, and Appendix 1 includes the 21-22 budget plus draft budgets for the following 2 financial years. In terms of movement from the 2021 budget, items of note include the reduction to the new year budget for interest on investments, and that purely reflects the low interest rates currently on offer. The only adjustment to expenditure budgets from 2021 relates to the addition of the £3,000 budget for the completion of the review of titles for the former Perth Borough. But this is a rephasing of expenditure which was approved in 2021, and the expenditure has been rephased to the new financial year. All other expenditure headings remain unchanged, and the budget assumes a surplus of £9,200 will be achieved for the year. Anticipated revenue balance of the fund at the 31st of March 2022 is £1,678,000. Sections 2.18 and 2.19 of the report, together with Appendix 2, provide an update on the projected income and expenditure financial year 2021. So the 2021 budget assumed a surplus of £25,600 would be achieved. However, this is actually increased by almost £106,000 due to cancellation of events and restrictions and activities during the year. So the projected surplus for the year is therefore £132,000, and the projected fund balance at 31st of March 2021 is £1,669,000. So the committee is requested to approve the 21-22 budget for the fund as set out in Appendix 1. Note the draft budgets for financial years 22-23 and 23-24 as included in Appendix 1, and also note the estimated income and expenditure for the fund for financial year 2021 as set out in Appendix 2. So happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Coyne. Are there any questions?
Convener, I have a question. I'm sorry, my screen is misbehaving this morning even more than usual, and I can't get to the conversation.
Fair enough, Willie. Go ahead with your question.
The couple of things on page 25, convener. The legal fees, first of all, are we quite certain this work and reviewing the titles will go ahead this year as planned? That's under para 2.9.
I'm conscious that I believe that work is going ahead in this year, but I would ask Mr. Haxton just to confirm that.
Sorry, convener, I can confirm that.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, so I've been liaising with legal services, and the work will definitely happen in the new financial year 21-22.
Thank you. My other questions on the same page, convener, point 2.16, the repair renewal reserve, and note what's there is that affects the shops, I think, that we have, and I just wonder if the shop in, I think it's Charlotte Place, has been relet. That affects the budget, obviously, and that's why I'm asking it under the budget question.
Indeed.
Thank you, convener, Councillor Wilson. That'll be the 2 Northport shop you're referring to. So the latest update was it was just about to be marketed for available for lease just before the pandemic struck. I spoke to estates colleagues earlier on this week, so they're put plans in motion to actually put the site up for let again. Obviously the restrictions for the pandemic meant they couldn't actually take people around to view the site, etc. But we'll get the ball rolling again in this new financial year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more questions with regard to this paper? No. Are there any comments with regard to this paper? No. Can we agree this paper?
Agreed.
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 Thank you very much. That was short, sharp and sweet. Thank you very much. That concludes our business today. Thank you to all.